Hi, I'm SA, and you're watching As It Is. Today we'll be talking about company cultures and how to survive a toxic workplace. Come, join the conversation. This topic is, I'm not sure it's new to anybody in this climb. And of course, it's common across the world. But why toxic environment? What can we do about it? How can we survive it, considering that maybe you may not be able to just resign and go get another job? What can we do? So to start the show, I would like to just get experiences. If you have had a toxic, workplace, if you work in a toxic workplace, let's get
to define what a toxic workplace is. What's toxic in a workplace? There are different perspectives. For example, you not following company process and structure and getting the book thrown at you can be.
That is not toxic.
That's what I'm saying. So let us define what toxic
is. A toxic workplace is somewhere where you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to go to work, but you're not happy to go there. Whatever reason, you're not happy to go to work.
So I'm asking for the why. Why are you not happy? What's going on there?
Oh, I think that's why.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You're asking for experiences.
What is a toxic
experience in workplace?
I think it would differ per individual.
Yes.
So why a workplace can be toxic to me might be different from why it would again. In fact, when I said I had experiences, and the reason why I was laughing was today's world we talk about women supporting women. I mean, once we get on Twitter today, you see somebody saying something. For every time I've had an experience of working with a toxic boss, it's always been female. I've never had an issue working with a guy. It's always been female.
We are good people.
So my experience will probably be different from yours.
So what we're saying is that
why
toxicity in this context is not generalized, it's per individual.
Naturally, when you talk about toxic, it is relative to the person in the situation, exactly. Really. Generally, what is toxic is toxic. Toxic can kill you.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So if toxic can kill you, that means it's not a place that is good for you.
Okay, maybe another way to look at it is just to put it simply, an unfriendly work environment.
Because
an experience.
Yeah. I know.
You will have the employer now setting up employees against each other, just to rule them, trying to say, I need you to help me monitor this person, I need to help me tell on this person. And then you have a case where this person is trying to go report you to your superior just to say, this and that is happening.
Game favors.
One place that, of course, there's a time to close, but just because what used to happen, I remember one that this employer would not come to work until maybe like evening, when he feels that, I have time. Now he comes to the office and he will not leave until about 9-10, and nobody should leave just because I'm here. And he's asking, so why are you going on? And the person, I'm in Lagos. You have to travel to get home and travel to get to work. But just because you are the boss, you said that because you are here, can't you see me still? I'm sitting in the office and you cannot leave. That is toxic.
Let me bring you something. Closer home. I know somebody closely who was working at this law firm. This guy is an SAN. He's been through all sorts. He has a car. He has what's it called? He has what are those people that follow the cars? Policemen. Escort. He has escort, and as well. Now, once he's at the office, really, nobody can leave until he leaves. Their office is in Ikoyi. Most of the staff leave. How Nigeria is. Most of the staff live on the mainland and maybe further beyond the regular mainland. Yes, Ikorodu and Co. And so this guy sometimes stays in the office till 10, 11 p.m. and nobody. Nobody. No HR can contest it.
That's toxic, man.
That's African toxic.
That's toxic, man. What?
So I'll give you another experience. And this doesn't have to do anything like maybe in a way you don't like, or using the
You get me? Because people can say regular things like that, say it's toxic, and it's not.
I'll give you an example. I worked at a particular company, and this is in its own sector industry. It's the largest of its type in West Africa. So to me, I'm like, oh, finally I've arrived. This is this. So I get in, and one of the things they're big on is training. But I realized quickly that the trainings were circulated on a particular level that I hadn't gotten to. In fact, I think I was 2 or 3 levels below that training level. Do you understand? For every time you complain is wait until you get there now. Do you understand? And I'm like, so for how long are we going to wait? So I started watching patterns, and I realized that even the person, so before I get promoted, the person right before me has to be promoted. Before that person promoted, the person before that person has to be promoted.
Performance.
The person before me, I'm looking at her and I don't see you get promoted in the next 10 years.
So you're doomed, more or less.
I don't see you get promoted in the next 10 years. And I want to get promoted. What do you think I do at that point? Okay, I need to prove to the business that I'm valuable. But guess how she's going to say it? She's going to say it like...
You're threatening her position.
Her position.
Yeah, because proving to business available means that you're going to step into her shoe.
And that if you are not working,
so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to wait there for the next 10 years?
Not come to Lagos together.
Yes.
Now, you see, this thought you just brought, in most places, you are expected, of course, to be diligent at your work. If you are not careful, being diligent, doing your work
is a problem.
Is a problem because there are colleagues who are going to see you as doing over, and then they make themselves your enemy for doing nothing wrong, just doing your normal work as you're supposed to do it. They become your enemies.
Beyond the employees, against employees, there are employers in this country who try to employ people that are vulnerable. And I mean that. I know a particular certification center in this Lagos that he likes to employ ladies, NYC girls, members rather, that he can send away at will. He can sack at will. One of my friends was at work and she was not allowed to leave work until some minutes to midnight. I know because I had to drive down to help to take her off the work that particular day. And so I got interested. I was like, what is happening here? And I get to know that when he tried to sleep with you or date you and you say no, they put you in a particular department that handles the training and they make the work big on you. They just give you impossible deadlines. Impossible deadlines that you don't. And this guy comes on social media, train people on. I personally have attacked him on social media. I don't really care. I've told him to his face. I've seen him preach in the church, and I said, "You
preach in the church."
Yes, yeah, of course. That's what.
Okay.
At him with your chest, bro.
Okay.
At him with your chest.
Okay.
At him with your chest.
I told him to his face. I said, I really wish he would respond to me, but you see, I have numbers, so he's very careful not to.
Rather not open that box.
Not to open that box with me. But so what I'm saying is, I got interested, so I asked questions, and 4 or 5 ladies came on Twitter the last time we discussed horrible posts and said, "You did this to me, did this to me." The same story.
Pattern. Yeah.
The same story. This guy does that to them. So and he would hold the money. And you know what it means to hold a crew member their money. You know, this is a survivor money here. So they are on you, hoping that it will pay.
So for me, I think that it's toxic workplaces, especially comes to workplaces, because you feel that you don't have any option.
No, we are getting there. We are getting examples. There are examples of toxic.
Yeah.
I've seen toxic, very toxic.
I mean, we should have in every organization, there's certain people who are, I want to call them the gatekeepers, who are in charge of, human resources and human capital development, who are
incapacitated,
supposed to be the ones in charge of, things like that. A lot of times, they're also under the same
rule. No, HR, especially in Nigerian companies, HR is not for the employees. It's for not get it twisted.
And that's not how it's supposed to be.
HR is not for the employer.
And that is toxic.
It's for the employer.
And that is very toxic.
You get me? You find yourself walking on eggshells with your HR because anything that has to do with you complaining against your fellow employee can be tolerated. But when it comes to the management, you find out that it's swept on the table.
Insubordination
is is madness.
Even against your fellow employees, as long as somebody who's somebody's favorite somewhere.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example. I've been in a position where I had an altercation with somebody at work, and she used certain words against me. On a normal day, everybody would look at me and say, "Oh, Steve, you have tattoos and piercings. You're the one who's supposed to be swear words. If you get into a fight," and then this baby is doing all that, and I'm just looking at her like, "Okay." So I got to HR and I said, "Well, this is a corporate environment. She should not be doing A, B, and C. So you get her to apologize." You get her to apologize. They're like, you see, the MD. Why? Because she's the favorite of certain people.
Okay, so can I bring up something? Could it be as a result of the kind of culture that exists within that organization?
Yeah, well, basically, sorry, can I take? Basically, I think you're right. It could be because you're coming into a new place, and of course, when you go to a new place, they're already caucus. You're looking at the place. You're getting, first of all, you're not even really focused on your work at first. You're trying to find out where you fit in, who's what, you watch people. You understand? You're trying to say, okay, who's the main guy here? Who's this one? Make I know as I step, which is already bad. You understand? Because you're trying to conform to an existing model already, which is negative. It shouldn't be so.
And I think beyond that, as a people, we are not that afraid, because everything that you see in the companies that we complain about, the toxic that we see, the problem, the fight, the bickering and all of that, came from our culture.
I was about to say,
it came from our culture.
Not from the culture.
We are people that
what culture are we talking about?
No, don't let me land.
Like as a people.
Yoruba people are big on respect.
On respect.
So you demand respect.
The story about that, yeah.
You can't call by name. For example, I'm 20-something. I'm working at an organization where some guy is 45. And I call him, so Kenny, you're supposed to. And then he doesn't say anything, but he's already looking at me like, what the fuck?
Let me give you the story.
By name.
So I was a team lead where I was working, and our accountant, well, it was an elderly guy, like 47, 48, pushing 50. And this particular day, there was no light, the gen stopped working. And everybody had been running up and down. The critics running up and down, trying to get things done. We had to get small gen, had to go and buy fuel, There was a whole lot of just making things happen. Before the auxiliary power came on, and we just started after, we had downtime of like 3-4 hours. And me, for my productivity, it's madness. Madness. So imagine that mindset. And you stroll, I can't swear here, you stroll in.
You're free.
You stroll fucking at 12. You stroll fucking at 12, and you not come and say, why is everybody now walking here? And older than me, Yoruba dude, older than me, and I said, sir, you can't say this thing. You don't know what we've been trying to. Dave, I was not talking to you. I said, you can't bash my people when I'm here. I lead them. Yeah. So I'm telling you that this is what has been going on. You don't come and say that here, bro. Put it as disrespect immediately. Disrespect straight. You must keep physical. That's he calls my MD. And says, you must take action on Dave. Dave must leave surface now. When the MD calls me and says, brother, what happened? I told him. Called him and said, that I'm not Dave's mate. My MD called him and I told him.
There's no mate in
this. Mate here, bro. Mate here. That came from. But guess what? To squash it, and because me, I just tried to be professional and everything, and I knew that it just so that peace relationship will continue. Yeah. So I told my boss, before my boss, I said this was going to happen here. So I'm going to call him.
Yes, I'm
going to. I had to do that. I said, come on, this nigga was obviously wrong.
It stems from culture, like you said. And
so my point is that imagine if it was somebody that couldn't stand up for him or herself.
Yeah.
Just take it.
That's
not get damaged.
Nigerian, it's a Yoruba thing. I realize that. Yoruba people.
Hello, please.
Yoruba people do it a lot. I see.
Because we're big on respect.
We're big on respect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
not saying that respect drives a toxic environment. I'm just saying that we're big on respect as Yoruba people. So when you talk about the fact that some of the company culture is derived from our culture as people, if you look at the Igbo tribe, for example, the average Igbo guy, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm Yoruba, but the average Igbo guy believes that they're above women. Women at a certain level cannot talk to them or tell them to do certain things.
Fact.
So when you get to work, I'm an Igbo guy, and some girl is saying, "Oh, why didn't you should have done?"
Can't get away there.
I have you as a wife at home.
Can't get away there.
Before I even opened the company, when I resumed 4 years ago, they gave me the booklet. I don't remember what I read in the booklet. The culture that you are born into, your foundation
Comes out.
Thinking women are second class.
Why should a woman be talking to me anyhow?
But I also
for not calling their boss, Mister.
I also think that irrespective of the culture you are coming from, when you get into a workplace, a work environment, there should be another a corporate culture now that rules that environment that you must as a person.
What do you should?
Can I just build on that? So that thing you said, regardless of where you're coming from, you leave that at the door and then you pick on the corporate culture. Okay. So in certain businesses, I'm privy to certain conversation with some bankers who are in their system, everyone operates on a first name basis. Yes. With the MD to the least person, the MD may be like 30 years older than you. It's first name basis. It's fine. In emails, it has to be first name as well. You cannot say Mr. to anybody. You know, like I've been asking. Say brother. As in, you know. However, there's certain people in that business. They no born your papa well. Make you they follow them talk. Make you call them by their name.
Israel definitely.
Yeah. They will squeeze you. In fact, you may get fired for no reason.
I was a banker, and my branch head would even prefer to call you Mr. When you just be like, Mr. Bukunmi, sure you will not go and help me do on that basis. The deputy manager, the DM, you dare not speak to her and say, Stella. I don't want to mention her name because she probably might see this.
So Stella.
Let me use Stella. I say, Stella, you will die. So you will have to improvise. I said, Madam Stella. And improvise and get that. As a matter of fact, I remember there was a conversation that on the marketing floor, we try to avoid having to deal with her so that you don't go and miss her.
I've done because that. I just went through the system without calling his name because mine was even worse. We had a Zoom meeting. So he says the meeting is at...
Did you even survive
he said the meeting was so time. And then he gives everybody 30 minutes after that time. So I log in. He logs in, it's just two of us, and I'm wondering, like, where's everybody? So, yeah, I just wanted to use this opportunity to address this, and that, he doesn't like the fact that I call him by his name, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking like, but what is your name?
What should I call you?
What is your name?
Bram.
He ranted a couple of
bro for short.
You know what I told myself? I said, okay, so you believe in people shouldn't call you by name. Maybe, and because I look younger than my age, so people assume that I'm all small, why you calling me by? And I'm looking at him like, okay. Now, when I went home, I was discussing with one of my friends, and the funny thing is, my friend's younger sister is friends with this guy. I'm older than my friend. Her younger sister is friends with him and calls him by his name.
Because you're a woman now.
So I'm looking like,
under him.
Okay. So you know what I did? Throughout till I left that company, I didn't call his name. If I need anything from him, I'm just walking. Hey, yeah. So
I need.
So Steaze, you did that. It was like your own either coping strategy, coping mechanism to go through it. How does somebody actually manage themselves through such systems? Especially beyond just call you by name or not by name, but where it's actually threatening the person's mental health.
Okay, I think first and foremost, what you have to understand is that in any work environment, there's nothing you do. You cannot please everybody. You will have enemies. You will have people
everywhere in life.
Yes, you will have people who do not just like you. Seeing your face every day, they just something just.
Especially if you're finer than them.
So
that was something. I know. I can relate.
So there's nothing you can do.
That's why I left banking. I'm not customer friendly.
Especially another thing is that in our environment, just waking up one day and just deciding, I don't like this place, I want to resign, and it's
It's
not
almost impossible.
It's impossible.
Okay, wait, no.
it's not as if it is impossible.
I did it well.
No, it's not as if it is impossible.
Well.
But it's not common. It's not something that
You don't have that capacity.
Yes.
That paradigm has changed. Now, let me tell you how it has changed with the advent of Gen Z.
No, this one.
Wait, chill. Hear me out.
Those ones
it depends on the environment where you.
They're not okay.
All right.
No, Gen Z's.
Now, man, I have developers that earn more than $500,000 per month.
Not everybody can operate within the Gen Z.
I have developers that earn more than $500,000 per month.
Not everybody can operate within the Gen Z.
No, that's not Gen Z now. You Gen Z.
We're talking about the
But
work.
you see,
We're talking
the thing is,
about
even before the advent of Gen Z, and I'll use this. This happened in 2016. I had a direct toxic boss that had said categorically to me that I don't want you to handle any of my jobs. Guess what? All the jobs belong to you because you are the head of this department. So that means I'm coming to work every day,
Doing
not
nothing.
doing any work. Initially, I was okay with it though. I'll get to work, pack my car, carry my bag, me and my partner. We'll go to Londoners in GRA, sit down, like catfish pepper soup, we'll go and
Enjoy
swim,
yourself.
drink. We'll come back to us around 4, play, laugh with people, enter my car and drive. I did this for 3 weeks. Then I started asking myself that if the management comes today and says, performance-wise,
Zero.
who is doing this?
Zero.
What can I point to that I've done in the last 1 month? Nothing. Who am I helping, me or her? Oh God, I dusted my shoe, got up and went to find another one. Because this fight you cannot fight.
So what I'm saying now is this thing. So
Yeah,
why I brought up Gen Z is this, because there's a mindset attached to these things. Millennials and co, do you understand? You won't get up and leave most of the time because number one, you hustle to get this job. You don't know where you get another job. There's fear in you of how you make a living, how you eat. Now, this Gen Z, they are fearless. There's something to be learned from them. Do you understand? We're in an era where mental health has come up now. Imagine mental health in Nigeria. All of us are victims from childhood.
Studying.
You get, man. We're all victims.
We're all
now.
victims.
We are you get me?
As in-
So, but these guys, take away their brashness, take away their immaturity.
Just with age.
They understand self.
True.
They understand self, which means you're getting somewhere and it's not working for your peace of mind. Brother,
From it.
They leave.
get away you.
They leave.
We were taught to take
Cope.
it.
Chop.
Take
Cope.
it. It's just like
Cope.
they're just
Manage it,
pretend like
manage
they are not
it,
there. Or you keep
You're not
apologizing for something.
Are you the only one in that
You
office?
did not
Are you the only one? Are you the only one in this office?
We are outliers too. People
Get me?
would not conform.
I've walked away from so many
Now,
jobs.
while walking away is not as if what you're saying is not possible. Of course, it's an option. But hey, whilst you are still there, before you finally decide and say to yourself, I've had enough, I need to leave, what do you do? How do you cope? That's what we're talking about.
Must get to that point, innit?
I think no. What you're
get to that
saying?
point.
What
You
you're
know-
saying?
But then you also don't leave immediately. You start sensing that something is wrong. It's not immediately.
now you-
The reality,
To
the-
see if you
we-
can.
Manage.
When you have gone through all channels, gone through every process, trying to rectify
we are
and still
exploring the reality. I mean, we can say this about Gen Z, that about these people and all that.
That's the reality, innit?
I'm considering the reality of everyday people who have not had that mind shift, who
Who are not in that
Gen Z space.
Oh, they are
You
coping.
understand?
They are coping.
What
How do they
do?
survive
How
it?
do they survive it? How do they move
Without
from that
losing
point?
their mind.
Exactly.
That's the point.
You
Because
understand?
the more you cope, the more you're suppressing a lot. One day,
No, so for
Yeah.
Explode, and you don't even know why you're exploding, but you explode.
So being real now, you want to say, so they're coping and it's parallel with them trying to look for a better place, another place. And then it is rinse and repeat.
So chances are that it happens again.
Yeah, of course.
And
So
then you're
when
just
it gets to
gonna
that point, so the
repeat
truth is that,
I like what they started with. And he said something about no matter where you are, you can't please
Everybody.
So I've also noticed that for every place that I've worked, I worked in 5 advertising companies. I worked for the Silverbird. That's like in total, let's say 7 different companies. I can only point to one place that I didn't have any toxic. Just one. Every other place, issues here, issues here, issues here. Whether the issues came from me, as in because I can be a very brash person as well. I also there were certain things that my HR, as at the 5th company I worked in, sat me down and explained some things to me. I never saw it that way.
Okay.
I never did.
So you have to improve
When
yourself.
when she broke it down to me, I had to sit back and I'm like,
So cool.
So what she said was, you're a natural born leader, Steaze. You're a natural born leader. People follow you without you even knowing. When you have a fight with somebody, they fight your fight for you without you asking them to. So as you mature in a company, there are certain fights you don't take to people. You don't let people know because you're sort of inciting certain things you shouldn't at a certain level. I didn't know. So when they tell me that, because of you, 10 people resigned, I'm like, did I ask them to resign? How's my fucking business? I'm resigning. I didn't ask anybody to. But guess what? I left the company, about 14 people left. I moved to the next company. I resigned, about 10 people left. The 3rd company, I resigned, like 7 people. And I'm just like, so when she was telling me this at the 5th place where I was working, I sat down and I thought about it that if you think about it, I wasn't happy with certain things. And I made it, because I'm a very vocal person, I made it very clear that I don't like this bullshit, so I'm leaving.
And public.
Yeah, I didn't say I'm leaving, so let's leave. I just said, okay, I'm leaving.
Something Abiodun said also is, you have to persevere, you have to try and see how far, if things can get better. True, when I started, I've worked in the same place for 8 years. I got in there 2014, I was earning 12K a month. And I went in as a junior graphic designer. 8 years.
Junior working as a junior.
All these my daddies that know my backstory. Okay, yeah, so I got in there and killing him, I was a rebel. That didn't conform.
You are still. I'm not. I
was a rebel.
I know you as a rebel and I still one.
And my boss is kind of guy that he was a workaholic. So one time my boss was that he will not tell you to do what you are not seeing him do.
Yeah.
And that means
leads by example.
And that means leaving work at 3 a.m.
Wow, I do that too.
It was mad. You understand? And at a point, I have energy, so it wasn't normal for me. In fact, I was the one that first brought up the all-night culture in the office. And he was like, can you? I said, yeah, and we did it. But there were some other things, I couldn't balance some things out. And I wanted to leave most of the time. But he told me, I said, look, brother, it is character building. That's another thing. When does it cross the line from character building
to slavery?
You understand? And
I like that word, slavery.
And I put my head down, and right now, I lead the Lagos office in that same company, 8 years. Everybody sits today, you've kept 9 to 5 for 8 years. You get me? So the question is, where does it stop from being character building to being toxic?
So what was the lesson for you within your system over 8 years? Because now, knowing you, I know that you probably move people to keep those late nights as well. Now,
we're fantastic.
Exactly. So,
and I'm there with them.
Regardless, it doesn't mean that they love it.
Good. So one of the things that made me know that it was worth it was, number one, I saw my employer meaning what he said.
Okay.
I saw that even when he goes off, you understand, he still comes back. He goes off on emotions, not on principle. So even if, and everybody's human, so he goes off, I know, maybe he's looking at the books, which I don't know. I'm not in his head seeing how he cannot pay us for 1 month. And one of the things he promised was that, look, brother, in 8 years, my salary was never old. My salary was never late. So he was carrying all these things. So like she said, it might just take somebody who has more insight
to bring
open up to you and say, brother, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening in the back end that you're not seeing. You get? So that's what it took for me. I saw one that he meant what he said, I saw number 2, that yes, this nigga has my best interest at heart.
That's not common everywhere. It's not common everywhere. I have worked in a real estate company where I got in 2014 and I left.
So you guys went in at the same time?
And I left January of last year. January 31st of last year. And I thought I was being loyal. Well, let me say something. Seun knows me. These people know each other from way back here and stuff.
So it's 13, they used me.
I am toxic. Quiet type. You don't want to confront. You are not looking.
Enduring, persevering.
You understand?
It's the same way.
You know.
But the truth is this: when you think back, you see that. Why was I doing all of that? He says he knows that his boss has his best interest, but this guy doesn't have your best interest. Doesn't have your best interest.
But you stayed that long.
Use you. You mentioned the other time HR. I was in the HR. So he gives you a different instruction. The staff come to him. He tells them a different thing and sends them to you.
So playing everybody against each other.
So you can screw them. And at the end of the day, you're the
So you become the enemy. Those people see you as the one who is stopping their progress in the company. He keeps his good name. 10 years after, those people are going to fight you. You will need a favor. They are the ones you meet, and they remember that 10 years ago, they needed a favor. You were the one who blocked them, and it has nothing to do with you.
I feel you, bro.
I've known this guy for 5 years. I've never seen him like
this, man.
Yes,
he's saying it as it is, bro.
Because Abiodun to be like this.
Because see, what is unfortunate in this arrangement, he asked a question that really got to me, that some of these people that are there, how are they surviving? And I don't think that is the right word. In my own head, thinking about it now, they are more or less coping. Now, let me take from my examples that we've used here, that you compel people to stay in the office till 10, 11, for reasons you think is justified. Like, I want to build their character or build their tenacity.
And there's no something like overtime here.
There's no something like overtime here. Now, you leave them to travel from island to mainland 11 p.m., 12 p.m. in the night, and they must resume by 7, 8 in the morning. How do you their health is even going, you're killing them. That's one. Number 2 is the issue of, I know the difference between living and surviving. I know the big difference. And most of the work of what they try to justify is the fact that, like you said, that, I want to build them. I will think that someone is trying to build me when I was in banking. I left not for toxic reasons, it was for my personal development. I just figured that I will not achieve the best of me in this system. And I left. I went out of the system. Now, do I find the system toxic? Yes, because this is the system that refused to allow you to grow. I remember I told my HR when I was supposed to, I wrote, remember, please, I need to go for a particular course. My current certification will not allow me to do more than I'm currently doing. And I see some openings in the company that I cannot apply for. And I think I can do some of these things. I want to move to the corporate corporate side, the advertisement side. That these things I love to do. And I said, corporate, that's what I'm trying to remember. And I said, can I go for this particular course? It will take me this year. Give me a leave of no pay, whatever. And I was refused. Because it makes sense to keep me on that level.
Because you are performing
on that level. But I want to do better. When he speaks now, I remember that when I wanted to resign, my last day at work, I was, as it should be, scared. And I called someone I considered a mentor. And I was like, do you think I'm actually making the best decision? He said, let me tell you something. And this was a statement. He said, the battle in your head is a battle between survival and significance. You have survived and you know how to survive. It's time for you to go get significance. when I left, of course, I had to pick my muscles. From a bankcard, after a year, I couldn't pay my house rent. But ask me again if that is the best decision I made in 2012. I will tell you, it's the best decision that I let it go. This is killing me already. Let me go and die.
How about that?
So let me say something about the survival part. So I mentioned earlier that a friend of mine who also was my HR when I was at the company in 2016 sat me down and explained things from a point of view I didn't see. So she also does this because she consults for my businesses right now. I've been through a lot of toxic companies. The last thing I wanted to do was also
set up such
organization. So that's one of the things that she does, this DISC personality test. I don't know if you know something about dominance, influence, supportive, and compliant. What she did for me after I did the first session with her was I realized that there's certain personalities that fit certain roles. You cannot put somebody who has an I personality, that's the influential personality, in a role like finance. You know why? That person is somebody who's an expressive person who talks a lot. Everybody will know what every other person is aiming in the company. Your salary, they say, they're paying you. That's why. You understand? So if you're going to do that, you need somebody who either sits in supportive role, who is more reserved, or a compliance person who is big on processes. The process says that this, so this is what it is. The same thing with dominance. If you're picking certain people in certain positions, the dominance guy, like sometimes I've had people fight to me by virtue of how I look. They think that I'm coming at them to fight. I'm like,
in physical fight.
I don't even like. I'm not saying anything. I don't even. Now, Steaze, I go straight. I was like, that's how I talk. Like I'm not even like just how I'm saying, but by virtue of how I speak or how I look, because I tell people I'm a perfect balance between a D and an I. My father and my mother. Easy. And I'm an I because I can be very, I can be a team player, I'm a very expressive person, but the moment there's pressure, I switch into a D. Like, at that point I don't really give a fuck about what's happening.
Result oriented.
Exactly, at that point, Now, those type of things are things I think that the HR departments need to put in place. So it's not just sitting as HR for people to come and report other people to you. It's about putting certain processes in place that will help drive from a personality point of view. This is somebody who can.
I think most companies are getting into
I need you guys to hold your thoughts.
A number of companies are
I need you to hold your thoughts. We have to round up now. We are way beyond time. It is interesting.
In my head, I'm thinking we need a part two of this because this is actually deeper than what.
We should. Every single topic that we discuss here requires a part two. We need to come back. But however, it has to end. So I'd just like for you guys to give us one line, one thought. Please make it one statement, okay? You can put your thoughts together. One statement, including how does someone get through this? It is a reality in this country where we are. I mean, you won't count between 1 to 10 before you find maybe about 7 people that are experiencing this. How do they get by so that they don't die, Steaze?
Okay, so for me, I would say be open-minded. And when I say be open-minded, it's you're dealing with human beings, you're not dealing with robots. Everybody is emotional and they act based on how they feel. So sometimes when people treat you in a certain way, sometimes you need to step out of your shoes and look at the why. Why is this person doing this, or why is this person, acting in this particular way, and then see if we can actually address it from that point of view. So being open-minded is very key for me.
David?
So for me, a toxic workplace persists, it will continue to persist. You're not going to change. It's human nature. So what I would say is, first of all, understand you. You got in there to work, so understand your career path. You understand? No path is smooth. No path is what's good. Also, the third thing is understand your boundaries. When you're getting to a point whereby the state of your mind is being compromised, which will affect said career path, make a move. So my point is, in every decision you make, focus on these things. There's some things you need to persevere, there's some things you need, but never at the expense of who you are as a person. Nobody should ever demean who you are. Not your boss, not the HR, not your co-worker, nobody. You understand? How to react to that is not by flaring up and everything, but you have to go back and you have to internalize and figure out what's best for you and how to make that thing work. And for me, I'll say this, and this is a personal thing. Look, man, be fearless. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of your future. Don't be afraid of trekking. Don't be afraid of going hungry. Don't be afraid.
No, it's that hunger that you said.
This guy, I was jobless for 3 years. I did all this.
Can we have Abe's thoughts?
Okay. For me, I think what I'll say is this: just know who you are. Just know who you are, and then after that, the next thing is know when to say no. No more.
Fantastic.
Nice.
I like that.
That's actually no point because everything they all said, plus please focus on personal development. Bam.
So I'll end with this thought. TD says something that the workplace is a workplace. It's not a friendship place. It's not a social gathering. It's not a family gathering. It's a workplace. You are employed to work, paid to work. Do the work. Don't expect people to be nice because people are going to come with their own different frames of reference. They are coming from
Different background.
strife. They are coming from trouble. They are coming from love. They are coming from all kinds of things. And it's going to play out because they're human. So you do the work, go find friendship outside and just be. Thank you guys for joining us today. I trust that you have learned a lot. I trust that you have taken something that will help you be better. As David said, as DR said, don't settle, be you. Thank you.